The role African Americans played in building the West is not widely known. They often worked in obscurity, raising their families and tending crops. Many African Americans in the Greenwood Village area played similar roles, out of the limelight, but their contributions were important. Francis Williams was one of those notable newcomers to this area. Today, we look back on his life in the rural land, his participation in village life, and the story of a park that bears his name.
I'm from West Virginia, and Uncle Sam drafted me. I would have never left West Virginia. However, there was nothing to do there but coal mining. And when they said I was coming to Colorado, I didn't even know where it was at. When I came out, they shipped me out to Laurie Field to be a fireman, air crash rescue. And the war ended, and so I just wasn't going back to West Virginia and thought I would just stay here in Colorado. I purchased a home on the GI Bill in Denver, and then after about 5 years or so, I just got tired of the big city.
Francis Williams began coming out to what is now Greenwood Village in the late 1940s to help his friend ranch land southeast of Bellevue Avenue. Williams initially looked at buying land east of Fitzsimmons, but was told the land was not available to purchase by African Americans, so he ended up leasing some land until he bought 20 acres in 1955. Williams didn't particularly like the desolate area with no trees, but decided he would make the land his family home.
I could see all the way to Kansas, and there was nothing but scrub oak, cactus, tumbleweeds, rattlesnakes, and occasional fox. Well, I bought 10, and the first 10 was $1,000, and the second 10 was $1,100, and the third one, $1,200. And of course, I boarded horses. So I decided to try to build a house, and that was the worst mistake I ever made. It took all your weekends, took all your vacation time, and all your extra money. My God, my chores were just endless, it seems. But when I got finished, I had no mortgage.
At the time Williams' house was completed in 1959, he especially wasn't fond that his secluded country setting was starting to change.
Why does everybody want to move out here? I mean, first, you know, it was just a mosquito-infested swamp down there at Cherry Creek. Lee had anywhere from 200 to 500 pigs just about a half mile from me. And they were garbage fed. He had a big cooker there. Yeah, you could smell it all over the place. But after you get immune to it, but people come out to visit me and say, "What's that stench?" And we'd say, "What stench?" Between me and I-25, there wasn't but one house, with Bellevue being a mud road and Dayton being a muddy road. When it rained, it was hectic. When it snowed, it wasn't too bad, as they put the gravel down and you can get out. And I didn't have a stop sign between me and the Gates Rubber Company.
In the midst of acquiring new neighbors, Williams' rural farm began to evolve with new proposals to improve the land beyond its agricultural lifestyle.
This is one of the fastest growing areas now that they got that highway through. There were quite a few meetings. And those meetings were pertaining to what kind of growth did they want. Wallace, he was going to build an office park, and that office park was going to have 15,000 square feet of office space and hotels, and that's when the stuff got bad. People really got mad, and everybody was saying, that'd be bigger than downtown Denver. You can't do that. He actually had went out long before and started purchasing property when the highway was coming through.
Williams recalls one incident that brought more water than his 200-foot well could hold.
I was at work, and my daughter called me, the oldest girl. She called and said, Dad, it's a hurricane. And I said, okay, baby, I'll be right there. It's a hurricane. And when I got up to Bellevue, that old wooden bridge was gone. When I got home, the lights was out, the television was off, all the electrical stuff was gone. It's a flood, but it's no hurricane.
Although the 1963 flood brought destruction, the increased water transformed Cherry Creek Reservoir from a marshy area to an attractive lake, raising the property values in the area and providing him opportunities to improve the land and enhance his family's quality of life.
After I got the house built, a lot of my friends would come out. It was just far enough out that you didn't have to drive 1,000 miles, and you could get the kids out of the country, and they could see the horses and the cows, and it made me feel good. They said, well, how do I get some of this land out? I said, it's too late now. If I had known this, I'd have taken more myself.
Eventually, Williams developed his 20-acre spread as the Dayton Farm subdivision, which included large stately homes.
I knew about carpentry, I knew about brickwork, I knew about roofing, but I didn't know nothing about zoning and development. And when this realtor told me that he'll handle everything, it would be no cost to me, I gave him exclusive rights to develop it the way he wanted to. And then I didn't like when he started in sidewalks, curb and gutter. I said, no, across the street, we got a horse path going through there, and we want the horse path to keep on going down to Cherry Creek. And he said, that's over with. You're not out in the country anymore. Didn't cost me nothing, but then it cost me everything.
As part of the residential development, he donated remaining land to Greenwood Village, which became Francis Williams Park.
Frida got to be mayor. She said that the city is growing, and we want a park on the east side of Bellevue. And that was a big commotion. She said, you can't stop progress, and it's coming. He finally talked us into it. And then the wife said, you're going to name it after him. Best move I ever made.
Many residents, like the Williams, who moved to the area in the 1950s, spoke of many struggles, water and farming, while most iconic 1950 families included a breadwinner father going off to work and a caregiving mother taking care of the home front. Williams says life was easier for parents and kids back then.
You know, I didn't have the problems that they have today. About the worst thing they could do is go down to Cherry Creek in that old mucky water and try to swim around.
Francis Williams is 88 years old and favorably recalls about his nearly 50 years living in Greenwood Village and being one of the first African Americans to live in the area.
I think that of all the places that I'd like to live in this country would be Greenwood Village. I think they just did a remarkable job of developing it. Really enjoyed it.
Today, the 20 acres of land that Francis Williams once owned still provokes memories of where his crops once grew, where some of the 800 trees he planted to tame the wind-swept prairie still stand, and where one's imagination can still hear echoes of cows, chickens, and pigs grazing in the prairie. Francis Williams' way of life may be just a story to many, but one thing is for sure. His life is a true reminder of continuing long and proud tradition of Greenwood Village living, begun by individuals who came here in earlier decades and made the community what it is today.